Hey, folks on YouTube, we got a few things that we have to talk about that went down on Monday Night Raw, baby, baby. All right, so the first thing, Obafemi's Open Challenge. Once again, like I said in the previous video, Oba is money, Oba is a star. But this segment on Monday Night Raw from May 11th was just something else. All right, so Oba comes out, people are saying, Oba, Oba. And then Oba, he picks up the mic. He says, "Who's ready for the Oba Femi's Open Challenge?" I think he actually mixed up the words himself. Adam Pearce comes out. He says, "Oba, no one accepted the Open Challenge. Therefore, the Open Challenge will be canceled tonight." Then Oba is, he's, livid. He is ticked off. He storms out of the ring. He goes to the back where he attacks Angel and Humberto, beat them up. He picked up Humberto, put him over his shoulder, and then he grabbed Angel by his head. And he walked back to the ring. And it was funny because he has Humberto over his shoulder, and Angel is pretty much walking himself to the ring. It was actually comical. And then they get in the ring, and Oba just beats them up. No, they get in the ring. Then the ref is there, and the match is on. Oba beats them up. He does like maybe, that slam that he does to both of them, and then he does his finisher on Humberto, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. Unbelievable. And I must tell you, man, I like Angel and Humberto, and like I said, Obafemi is a star. Angel and Humberto, I feel like those guys are just not being utilized properly. And I'm not saying that they should, defeat, Oba, but the match should not have happened, because if you think about it, Oba is a babyface. He's a good guy. But what he did was kind of heelish. The fact that, he didn't get his open challenge, that no one wanted to accept the open challenge, and that he goes in the back to beat up these guys, bring them out to the ring. So it makes him, a bully. And I'm not saying, because he's a giant, he has to be, he's a giant, he's a monster. He's the ruler of the world. Let's get it right. And I'm not saying he has to be like a friendly giant or anything like that, but just that segment, it just didn't make any sense to me. That's like what he did is something that Brock Lesnar would do. And just the overall booking of this segment was just ridiculous, because Angel and Humberto, they were in the back, just mind their own business. And then Oba attacks them and forces those wrestlers into a match. Like, how does that happen? And the fact is that they weren't even dressed up. And I know we all know this stuff is scripted, but like, come on. And the other thing to me is, with the tag team division, WWE, it just seems like they don't care about the tag team division. Like, it's not important. And I feel like what I was saying before, what Angel and Humberto, those guys are just super talented. And I'm not saying, hey, they should be defeating Oba or, be competing against Roman Reigns at this point, because, based on how they've been presented. But I feel like as a tag team that you could really get something out of them. But instead, they're just getting beat up. Royce Keys beat them up 3 weeks ago or whatever. And now Oba. So it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I know that people, I know that wrestlers, everyone has their part, their role that they have to play. Like Kit Wilson, he's a jobber. He gets beat up, but that's his thing. He's supposed to get beat up, but what his gimmick is actually working. So it doesn't matter. He's the guy that you can beat up. He's the guy that will make you laugh, and he can get beat up and be in these crazy segments. That's fine. But for someone like Angel and Humberto, it doesn't make any sense. And I just think about tag team wrestling from back in the day. The Hardys, Harlem Heat, the Road Warriors, Edge and Christian. I grew up watching them. The New Age Outlaws, all those different tag teams that meant something to the business. Now, like tag team wrestling, it's not important. it's dead. So I was not a fan of that segment overall. And then a few other things I want to talk about from Monday Night Raw. The Street Profits and Joe Henry, they defeated the Vision. I felt like that segment was okay, but I thought it was kind of funny because the Vision started out the segment, and they were talking how they're the tag team champs, and what's his name, Brian Breaker comes out and just pretty much was saying, I don't remember exactly everything they said, but just pretty much saying, yeah, the Vision, we're here to dominate or something like that. And then Joe Henry comes out. No, Joe Henry comes out. He starts to saying, fire Logan Paul, fire Logan Paul. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Then they had their match, and Rollins interfered, and he interfered, and of course, my boy Austin Theory, he took the pin. So I don't know. I feel like so far with the Vision, I really like them. I like the fact that Braun Breaker is back, but just with the tag team champs, they're like, it's just like, what are we doing with with the titles? What are we doing? Can we, like, if you're trying to get the Vision over, and I understand, like, if the guy's a bad guy or a villain, they have to get beat up sometimes, but make me want to see them get beat up instead of them always getting beat up every week, because they get beat up, okay, and then they might win their match. It's just like, I don't know, and I just feel like the booking of, like I said, the overall tag team division is nothing is special, nothing hot is happening. And then also another thing, Montez Ford, that guy is a star. The guy is money. What is the WWE doing with this guy? When are they going to pull the trigger on him? It just does not make any sense to me. All right, and then this other segment that had me shaking my head. So it was Penta comes out saying, he's the, IC champ. He's ready, to take on anyone. He's going to, beat up, what's his name? Can't even think of the guy's name. Evans. Evans, not Ethan Page. Ethan Page. He tells Ethan Page, he's like, listen, you ready to fight? We can get it on right now. Ethan Page comes out and was saying, you know what, let's have a match. But you know what? I don't want to have the match right now. And then after that, Rusev comes out, and then Javon Evans. Their promos were just not really good. And then Javon Evans and Rusev, they have a match. Javon won the match. Felt like the match was all right. And then Io Sky, she had a match against Soruka. She defeated her. They actually got some time for that match. I felt like it was all right. Nothing really special. I guess I thought that the match was going to be better. Not saying it was a bad match, but there was it just seemed like, I don't know if it was a clash of styles, but the timing was off. It seemed like they had just some issues with the timing. So it kind of like took me out of the match. And then this next match that I thought that they were going to get some time. I thought it was going to be a good match. It was Dominic Mysterio versus the original El Grande Americano. So before the match, Dominic Mysterio is walking out. He's getting ready to walk out to the ring, but he's getting ready to walk out to the ring with JD, but Finn Balor attacked JD. Finn Balor, he just attacks JD, and Dominic's like, he's like, I can't believe he did that. Why would you do this? But then he's like, I have to get ready for my match, and then he just walks away. It's like, I don't know, it was just kind of, just kind of funny to me. And then Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano, they had a 5-minute match. I think they only got 5 minutes for this match, or maybe a little over 5 minutes. I'm like, are you serious? And this match was for the Dominic's title, the AAA Championship, Mega Championship, I think that's what it's called. And Dominic, at first I was thinking that Dominic was probably going to lose the match because of the announcers, the commentators. They were saying, if Dominic, if he loses this match, El Grande Americano, the original El Grande Americano, he's going to have a match that's coming up. I mean, he has a match already that's coming up against the fake El Grande Americano, and if he wins this match tonight, it could be for the AAA Championship. They kept on, they kept on bringing that up. So I was like, okay, maybe Dominic will lose, but the match was all right. But I really wanted the guys to get time. But Dominic won, like I said, the fake or the second El Grande Americano, he interfered, and Dominic took advantage. And then this was actually, I feel like, the last thing that happened, last segment on Monday Night Raw with Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. I thought that was the best thing, the best segment, I should say. It was the best segment. From Monday Night Raw. So anyway, Roman Reigns, he comes out, does the entrance and all of that, acknowledge me, all that kind of stuff, and he's waiting for Jacob. Jacob is in the back. Jey Uso was talking to him. Jey Uso's like, "Listen, man, we're family. We need to." He was trying to de-escalate the situation, and Jacob was like, "I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'm coming from Roman Reigns." And then Jacob attacked Jey Uso. He hit him with like 3 headbutts. The headbutts, I like Jacob. I think Jacob is great, but I'm not liking the headbutts. They just look kind of phony. And then also, Jimmy Uso was in the ring with Roman. So Jacob Fatu, he's going to the ring now, and then Jimmy is trying to stop him, like, "Hey, listen, just think about it." And then Jacob like pushed him into the rail or whatever, and just punched him a couple of times. And Jimmy was not, he was unconscious for a long time. Jacob really didn't do that much to him, so that was just kind of funny. And then after that, Jacob gets in the ring, and he and Roman are going at it, but Jacob was just giving it to him, and then Roman Reigns, it seemed like he got the upper hand for, like, I don't know, a few seconds, and then Jacob came back, got him with the, what is that called, the Tongan death grip or whatever it's called, got him in that. And then he put him through the announcer's table, slammed him through an announcer's table. And at that point, I'm thinking, like, where are the Usos? Where are they? And then Jacob is leaving the ring, and then he sees the Usos, tending to Roman next to the in front of the barricade. And Jey Uso, he went, he attacked the Roman and the Usos. He ran, did a striking attack or whatever you want to call it, or a hip attack through the barricade. So I thought that was really good. But just like the headbutts, not really crazy about that, and the fact that the Usos were just unconscious for like a few minutes, it just didn't make any sense to me. But we shall see what happens next week. But there's not much wrestling on these shows. They really don't give you that that much. When it comes to match time, you really can't get into it, and also with the with the commercials and all that, with the ads. So it's like, okay, what are we doing? We might get, like, on Raws and also on SmackDown, you might get maybe one match where they get some time, but the other matches you really don't get that much time. And then when you get into the matches, I can only speak for myself. When I get into the matches, then they just end. So we shall see. Please take care and have a good one.